Okay, guys, let's look at some charts here. I just got back from Canada, from StoicCon. I'll be making a presentation on how we can use some of the Stoic principles um, in trading. Now, let's see. Let's start at the top left here with USD. So we're looking at the indexes, and you have them in the members area. So this is about 1 year, September to September. Obviously this support should be a little bit low here. All right, so I've got kind of a longer term moving average here, and then just a smoothed out shorter period moving average. Looking at the big picture, let's get a couple of days, a couple of years in here. What's going on? All right. Let's see. So I should probably draw a couple more support resistance here. Got a couple of these. All right. So longer term, we're still in the uptrend, and we can slap moving average, trend line here. Let's see. So we're in this range right now between this high and these lows, and we are bouncing off of these lows right now. We formed this potential, I call it Libra pattern. So if you look at it, for example, so like this swing low here. Okay. Get this out of here. Let's see. So we're gonna form some hypothesis here. Let's see. So we're rejecting this high. It's actually like a mini SRS here, you might say, actually dynamic. So this is going to be on an angle, right, like this. Okay. So obviously my formula is not perfect. You can see it here, but it's better than DXY or dollar index that's out there, in my opinion. Let's see. So let's look at 1 year. Right. So Libra. The idea here is that we're going to do something like this. Right. Okay. So, and then this. Where's my drawing? Did I remove it? Get a brush in here. So then this moving average, could possibly turn like this, right? The longer term. And so it will look like this, right? I don't think I can try. Okay. Right, so that is the idea. So we have this nice little thick zone right here. A lot of activity, a lot of people are stuck long and short. They're able to push it up. So the idea is that we're gonna slide a little bit lower and then bounce, and then we'll see where we go from there. If we're gonna go higher, or we're going to form some kind of bear flag, which would look like if we grab this line here and then put it up here like this, right? So if we're gonna bounce between these two lines here that are parallel, we could see it go lower from here like this, kind of like that. So then you have kind of A, B like a measured move. Right? So whatever high we make there, so like that. That'll be kind of perfect. So we're gonna see what happens with that, and so the idea is that we're going to monitor and watch if we bounce here, and if we don't break through here to go higher to test these highs. If we start turning here, then we're going to look for the break of this bear flag to go short on USD. All right, so that's the idea right now. We're looking for this low to swing up. So for now, the question is, am I interested in USD pairs? And I got to look at the calendar. I just posted it, but I think there's some news coming up. But regardless, it's kind of in the range. I'm not that interested in USD right now. But if it gets down to this point, or the A, right, or the B, then I might be interested. But right now, so I'm looking for this Libra pattern to fulfill. And so that's USD. And let's see. All right. So it's kind of flat, I would say. I would say that USD is flat. So now let's look at Euro. So obviously uptrend. So let's look at the big picture. And these are daily bars, by the way, obviously. So we have, let's draw some support and resistance. So we got a bunch of these. And we have this trend that's pretty persistent. We have this trend that's pretty persistent. Let's do like a parallel channels. Something like this. So we're in this channel right now, and we have this SRS kind of zone right here. So we went up, pulled down, went up again. So I'm kind of expecting, let's zoom in, kind of expecting a pullback, possibly a breakout of this trend line, because we're just made a lower high right here. And so anytime I see this type of pattern, what usually ends up happening is I find that we do like a lot of this type of thing, and then we kind of break through it, right? And then go down like this. But right now, you know, the trend is still up. So the bias is that it's going to go higher with the trend until we break it. So these last 2 days, Thursday and Friday, have been pretty bearish for Euro, and we had this whole down move from the highs, and then we kind of broke out of it to go higher, and that was short-lived. So we have yeah, so this SRS here. So I'm kind of looking for you know, like a little pullback here, a little hesitation, and then probably into here, and then we have like all this activity right here. So that's probably interesting zone here. So I'm kind of starting to get bearish on Euro, and of course there's all the political news in Europe and British pound, so we're gonna look at that as well. So in my notes here, I'm gonna write down, so I'm gonna write USDs flat to down, and Euro Boy, it's gonna be a long video. I gotta hurry up. Euro looking for down. All right, so let's look at the next. Canada. Canadian dollar. Appropriate. Just came back from there. Not much break out of this, resistance here. I was kind of looking for more because we got this high right here still. So let's just throw that in there. Long term, kind of flat to we've been going up since these lows, and we've got this thing going, and we have kind of like this thing going. Okay, so we got this triple bottom here from this support, and so definitely important zone there. I'm going to go ahead and mark this high. I'm going to mark this high as important. All right. So it's kind of starting to turn. We definitely broke out and then try to form some kind of head and shoulders at the top, which is usually bearish. You could throw in a line like this and you can make an argument that we have broken it, but you also have, this thing going on, which is not probably less reliable. So, I'm looking at it and kind of starting to look like a bear flag. And let's change this to like red. Whoa, let's see. Let's change that to red. Let's make it thicker. All right. So kind of starting looking like that. Let's see. Yeah. So let's zoom in a little bit. So we're kind of ranging right now. Not a lot. There's still support. We've got this, weak looking, we had a turnaround in Canada midday. So could be like a false breakout of this trend line. So we could try to go higher and test the highs. But I'm going to be looking for a move lower. There's just a lot of bearish kind of signs, right? Because also this would make sense if we have this SRS level right here, right? We can make an argument that this is a neckline for a potential, let's change the color to potential for some kind of head and shoulders thing going on like this, right? So, yeah, I'll be looking for Canada. I'm gonna write down Canada down. Right. So let's move now to British pound. Right. So long term, let me let's see. So we got this low here, and we got this high. Right. So British pound's been kind of in this flat channel ever since the big decline. Now zooming in, where's my oh, I just removed it. So I'm gonna call it pound. All right, so British pound. Let's zoom in. Let's see, about a year. So we're looking at the year here. I'm still pretty bullish ever since it turned here and started making really, really big gains. I've been kind of bullish on it because we have a potential for a breakout. But you could make an argument that this is some kind of a bear flag as well. This. That whole thing. For it to go, lower. Yeah, like this. But right now, I think that like if I make a little better drawing here and I just copy this, so this is the slope right now, and let me just clone that and throw it right on top of this thing like this, right? So this line now, this trend line becomes a sort of magnet if British pound is going to go up, and then we have this arguably SRS level. Let's see if we have anything else. You could say that this area here is a rejection price. So you could say that potentially to move this way, okay, kind of like that. But there's obviously two ways to get there. You can go like this. Oh, like that, right? So I'm still, bullish on British pound. So that is my kind of bias hypothesis. So I'm gonna write down British pound up. So now I'm going to go to Swiss franc. So I'm just kind of showing you guys what I do. Almost about twice, 3 times a week, because these indexes don't move too much during the week. But yeah, Swiss franc is kind of, it's boring now, and it doesn't really move much. But right now, it's kind of in a down sloping move. We had this whole thing going up like this, right? And then it just broke out of it, and then when it broke that trend line right here, it pulled right back up to it. So that was pretty interesting to watch. So Swiss franc. So we're making this structure here, and there's a potential for a measured move. So from these highs to this pivot here, and of course we have all kinds of support here. I need to throw in this guy right here as well. This is a major support here, and all right. So I'm definitely looking for at least this, okay, like this, and then if we take this measured move and we move it to that high, there's still potential for lower. So I'm gonna write down Swiss franc down. So let's move to the next. Japanese yen. Let's see. Japanese yen. Okay, so Japanese yen, I really like how it trends. I mean, you can catch some of the trends and just ride it, which is nice. So what's happening here is we have reverse cup and handle almost. You have this cup right here, and then you have this little handle, and then we broke out. Not much. We pulled back, tried to break it again, couldn't. We had this really nice trend going right here. Right, and then we try to break through it, and we still can't break through it, which is kind of bullish actually. You would think that you would test the neckline, you know, all the support or this zone right here, and just kind of start going down a lot. But that's not what's happening. It's looks pretty resilient. If we zoom out to see the big picture, you can make an argument that this is some kind of wedge, like a triangle. You know, we have this big up move, big trend, and it's a long, prolonged pullback. It kind of looks like this on the, on the big picture. Right? So like this. So normally I would want to see it break out of it, and then let's go test. Let's go test this whole zone. So kind of like this, right? So I want to get the slope angle here, which is at 60%. So we're gonna go, yeah, let's see. So probably something like this. And then we have the measured move from that low to this high. And if we assume that this is the low, then that puts us right up there, which is yeah, this area high. And then I'm also going to put that resistance there. So these are some of the targets that I have right now, obviously. Don't forget that we definitely have major resistance right here. So we could see it once we move up, kind of do one of these things with the SRS, and then go up again. So I'm gonna write down. I'm gonna write down. See, for this long-term moving average, it's gonna want to start moving. So I'm kind of looking for a little more pullback and then breakout. But regardless, I'm gonna write down JPY up. So let's look at Australian dollar. It's kind of flat. Let me remove some of these things so they're not bothering you. Alright, just do it all over. So let's throw in some support resistance. So we got a high here, got a low here, this support right here, and we got a bunch of support levels here, but they're not really important right now to us. Australian dollar, not the easiest thing to trade, especially it's not trending right now anywhere. Kind of a sideways to up movement from this big drop here over the last 4 or 5 years. We have, you know, this thing, and then let's clone, and then we have this thing going like this. So you could make an argument that this is some kind of bear flag to move lower, but we are also kind of consistently making higher lows. So if this is the low, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's all kinds of higher lows, and uh, make this go out a little bit like this. So um, I'm definitely interested in this SRS level here. And let's see. Really thick zone right here. It's like so much action that didn't really move the market anywhere, but a lot of stock traders in here. So, I mean, I don't have an opinion or anything like that on Australian dollar right now, because it could really, just kind of keep going to that trend line here. But you can also test this trend line first. So it's too flat for me to make any kind of judgment, so I'm going to skip Australian dollar altogether, at least this week, unless I see something interesting on some of these other, cross pairs, and Australian dollar just happens to be in there. But let's just look at New Zealand. Let me remove some of these things for you. And so New Zealand dollar, yeah, so we had this consolidation here, broke out of it. We still have these highs here. We definitely, this thing right here, the breakout, that becomes a magnet. We are making kind of, that was the mistake I made on NU last week with the SRS trade. It looked pretty good on the pair, but I neglected the index, and the fact was that it was bouncing off of this support level, and it was so clear that I sometimes do not see things that are right in your face. So we have this little nice SRS right here. This little zone here, we pull down, found support. Now the question is, obviously, what is it going to do next? What is it trying to do? And you have, this low, but it's probably more like this low. And right now we're in the middle of this range. Like if you throw in some kind of Fibonacci thing on it, we are right at 50%. All right, which is not very useful. You don't really want to trade in the middle of the range because it can go either way. So, but if I were to trade this, I would be looking for the LSS pattern. So we have this thing like this, right? And then we have a smaller thing, and then if we get another small thing, so we could break, pull back, and then test this zone here, right? So, but the other thing is this neckline, it should have really been here for proper LSS. You also have a larger time frame LSS, Let's make it orange. So from here, you could make an argument, right? So like that. So it's kind of hard to judge. You're gonna have to kind of watch. Oh, okay, what just happened? Oh, wow. Okay. Huh, interesting. Didn't know that. All right. So you're gonna have to watch um, what we do here. So let me clean it up for you. Um, so right now, I'm kind of bearish on NU actually, but this support, the way we're bouncing off of that support, uh, could look pretty bullish to some people. So I don't know. I would rather wait to see if we come down to the support again and break it and then short it for this target. So I'm going to say, NZD is down, but I don't know if it's tradable yet. So I'm going to put a question mark on here. All right. So now that we have gone through all of the pairs, um, replacing these. So now I'm going to look at my list and I'm going to see which ones are going in opposite directions. Right. So, so we got Euro that's going down and British Pound that's going up. So we're going to say that EG is down. All right, and then we have Canadian going down and British Pound going up. So GCAD is up. All right, and then we have Euro JPY. So we got Euro going down, JPY going up. So AJ is down. And then we got British Pound, Swiss franc, so GCHF. British Pound up, Swiss franc down, so GCHF is going up. And we got Swiss franc, Japanese yen going down. And we got, well, Euro Swiss franc, I'm not interested in that pair. It only ranges like 30 pips a day. Really not interested in it. So these are my ideas. So I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 pairs out of this whole analysis that we just did together. And so I'm going to switch over to the charts. Let's make it like this. And we're going to put monthly on this chart. We're going to put daily on this one. We're going to put 5 minutes on that one, and we're going to put 4 hour on this one. All right, and we're going to go to first pair is Euro British Pound. Euro British Pound. So I'm going to look at monthly, right? So we made a higher high. There's a resistance there at the highs, rejecting that. We made a kind of a low, well, we're bouncing off of that support right here on the monthly, which is nice. Okay, so this is monthly charts. All right, and then we look at the daily, and we see that we are rejecting this resistance here, right? And we've got we found support here from this resistance, and we on a 4 hour we have this deep pullback. So kind of expecting another pullback, presumably to go lower. So I will be looking to short EG somewhere around here. And so I'm just going to go like this. Track. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't sync properly. All right. Let's see. We're trying to go down to test these lows. All right. So we're gonna put down these lows right here. So the assumption is that the theory is that we're gonna test these lows here, right? Nobody knows the future, so these are only theories. 5-minute chart. We had this big down candle here on Friday, and Friday the 13th, nevertheless. Nice little pullback here. So there's got to be some kind of trend line that we can take advantage of. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So I just screwed up the 5 minutes. Let's look at the 5 minutes EG again. Yeah, this is EG now. I don't know what I was drawing on. So let's throw in a some kind of trend line here. Okay, and we have this triangle right here, and obviously we let's see. Right, so we're sitting right on that trend line there, and just kind of waiting to break out of it. So I'm going to look for a break, a pullback, and then a short. So basically, just the way I drew it here. No, not a big deal. All right, let's go back to GCAD. All right, that matches now. So let's start at the monthly here. We've got some kind of trending support going on here like this. Okay. Let's turn it green. All right. So, and we're not really, we tried to take off from that trend line a few times, failed, came back to it. Now we're trying again. It looks, looks like it's really trying to move higher. But let's look at daily. Let's look at daily. And we definitely had a pretty strong downtrend here. That was broken. All right. And now we're making a move up with a pullback to this SRS that I failed to buy. Let's see, you just can't see everything all the time, right? So we got this SRS. So then the potential measured move is going to be this. So, and then we'll look to the left here. That would be a pretty good area to get back into, I believe. So then we look at the 4-hour chart. Definitely looks volatile. There's that SRS. Yeah, we shorted from the top down into the SRS, but I didn't reverse there for some reason. So now let's let me throw in a background thing. Okay. So yeah, kind of a bearish close there. It's understandable, people taking profits at the end of the week. I'm looking to buy, so I'll be looking at some kind of some kind of pullback to buy and go higher. I don't know yet where I will buy it. I will post it in the room, obviously. We have some kind of trend line going like this that we managed to break. So we're gonna see what we do with it. Let's see. But my bias is up, so I just need to pick a good entry to buy, and that's what I will look at once we open on this Sunday evening. Because if we gap down or up a lot, then it's going to kind of negate whatever entry I put out. So I usually wait on Sundays to make my entry decisions because of the gaps. Let's look at Euro, Japanese yen, and the bias is down. So now on monthly, we're actually recovering pretty nicely here from this downtrend, and you know, we are still in an uptrend, and the daily actually looks like an uptrend. We have made a lower high here, however, and if we throw in a trend line, we're kind of starting to break it, as you can see. So we posted a lower high, and now we're breaking the trend line. So and the bias from the indexes is down, EJ down. So I will be looking at something like this. Let's throw in SRS in there. Alright, so that's 600 pips right there. Look at the 4-hour chart. There's that lower high. I still think that it's possible to test the highs, and we can start looking for a short up in there. But even on the 4-hour, we kind of broke that trend line. So, we might short earlier, and that would post a third. So if there's a third, well, I count this high as the first lower high. It's just the way my brain works. So if we do 3 lower highs, that's usually pretty bearish. So it would be like 1, 2, and then a third, right? A pullback to the trend line down. So it would look something like this. Yeah. We have this open gap, pull back to this line, and then probably lower to there. So 600 pips. So like, yeah, I think that's all right. So that's the hypothesis, and I will post the entry if I have one, and we can also throw in a trend line like this. Throw in the trend line like that. Yeah. So that looks pretty good to me. I mean, that A point could potentially this. Yeah, that would be fine too. So we'll figure out a entry up there somewhere. 5 minute. Doesn't doesn't really tell us much. It's just a big downtrend here. This trend channel. Um, yeah, just like that. All right. So SEG. Let's look at British pound, Swiss franc. Another pair I failed to buy. I wanted to buy it, but didn't. Just the type that I had, 4C, is not the best type. But whatever. So let's look at the monthly. We have this down move and then some kind of bear flag, which is not very good for my upward bias. So I'm kind of feeling hesitant. Let's look at daily. Daily is just kind of big swings up and down flat. Not really, I just can't say that we're trending, you know, which is usually how these bear flags are. Yeah, I just don't like the way this chart looks at all, and the bias is up. Let's see, 4 hour. We did break out that trend line, so that's kind of a, yeah, that's kind of a bullish move. So we break out of it right there, that whole thing, and then we pull back to it, close the gap right here, close that gap. Well, it didn't really close it, but you know, we tried. Moved up, and now looks like we're pulling back. We have some kind of SRS here. Boy, this video is going to be an hour long. Some kind of SRS here. So if I am right, then I want to see the test of the highs, which is about 280 pips, and the 5-minute chart is kind of useless to me right now. Except, yeah, I mean, you can see the same thing on the 4 hour. So I'll be looking for an entry somewhere up there. That's fine. Then let's go to Swiss franc, the last pair, Swiss franc, Japanese yen. Right, so this one, the bias is down, and I mean, I kind of like it. I don't like the slope of this pullback. I feel like it's a little too aggressive on the monthly. Ideally, if you are talking about some kind of bear flag, like what we want, the slope would be kind of like this, right? So the total is about 90 degrees or higher. But this thing is sharp, you know. You can see that this one is 40 and this one is 60, 70, so it's 110. But ideally we want 90 or lower. So let's see. These things like this. So I don't know. I mean, my bias is down, so let's see if we can see something on shorter time frames. We have this trend on a daily, like that. So I don't want to short it yet. I'd rather see this trend line break and then pull back and, you know, find a way to short it there. But right now, because it's sitting right on it, it could, you know, easily bounce off of it. And if we look at a 4-hour chart, I mean, Swiss franc pairs are not my favorite anyway, but you can see the same, you know, continuation here of this trend line. You could make an argument that we've broken it, at least this trend line on 4 hour, right there. So, if we do pull back up to it, of course, we would want to see this trend line break on the 5 minute. But so the basic idea would be, first of all, what would be the target? Now, you could make an argument that this would be some kind of head and shoulders situation. Where's my brush again? I know I'm looking at it and I can't see it. Isn't that funny? I had it in my favorites. Now it's not there. All right. So we have this shoulder here. Here's a head. And if this is going to be another shoulder, then our target is at least a neckline, but it's only like, that's 200 pips, so that's not bad. It's not bad. So let's put it on all the charts, and so we're going to be short there. That gives us extra pips. So you're looking at about 230 pips of movement, which is nice. So down to this support right here. All right. Yeah, I'm starting to like this trade more. So once we break out of this trend line here, then we can start looking for a short, probably in this zone here. This low. Like that. Yeah. So this is what I have for you today on this Sunday afternoon. But I'm gonna go through all the pairs one more time again without the indexes, just to see if there's some kind of opportunities there as well. But these are the 5 primary ideas